you guys want to hang out here while I get this done, and then you can jump in after me? Okay.
Yeah, I'll get you some chairs up here. You got it.
Welcome to the NCAA Women's Volleyball Postgame Press Conference featuring Washington. We'll hear from Coach Keegan Cook first and then followed by a student athlete. If possible, please check your settings and identify yourself by name and affiliation. Thank you for participating today. We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Cook and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Cook, please give us a brief opening statement and then we will go to questions.
I'll keep it brief since we were out there a while. Congratulations to the Pittsburgh Panthers, and then the season that they had, the spring that they had was unbelievable. The tournament they had, the level that they played at. I think those first two sets especially spoke to who they were in the end of the fourth, and knew it was going to be an incredible challenge for us. Disappointed with the way we started, but really have always believed in this group to take things the distance, and was just impressed with our ability to side out against a very good serving team, against a very good transition hitting team, and just really happy for our athletes. It's been a long journey. We've had a few chances to get this program back to the Final Four, and this was the group to do it, and so I'm just thrilled for them and looking forward to spending some more time with them in Omaha.
Thank you. Now we will go to questions from the media. Use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. When called upon, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Cindy Nash. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, this is Cindy from Daily. What were you telling the team going into the fifth set today?
A couple little tactical reminders, but mostly just that they had figured it out. They had started playing kind of clean volleyball, which is something that we've wanted to be known for all year. Wanted them to drive the ball high and hard, at the top of the block, and to hit their serves with confidence, and just told them they had everything they needed to come away with the win. And they didn't disappoint, especially with the start of that set.
And all season, you've been kind of pointing towards the postseason as something where you really want serving to improve on, a goal that you had for kind of the tournament. How did you feel about that today?
It was our best, right when our best was needed. These last two matches, serving at a level that we have not served at most of the entire season, and the timing couldn't have been better. And it was the one thing we had from start to finish in this match, and certainly it was the thing that allowed us to come away with a win.
And lastly, how did you feel going for your third fifth set game during the tournament? Do you think the team's been kind of exhausted or staying strong?
You're not thinking about any of that. It was a brutal turnaround for us. Not a lot of sleep for coaches or players, but once you're in that moment, you're pretty locked in. And again, you can't fake confidence in fifth sets. We've been in a lot of them, and we've won more than we've lost. And so, total confidence in us in that last set.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.
Our next question is from Scott Hansen. Please unmute yourself and you're good to talk.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry for your opening statement. I know you told me before the tournament you felt the responsibility to get this program back to the Final Four. What does it mean to be there?
Still a little surreal right now, just it's the greatest privilege and responsibility to coach, a program of this caliber. And you have to know what's at stake. You make commitments to some very talented people with big dreams, and it's your responsibility to get them there. And just really happy for these kids and for all former teams.
you said yesterday you couldn't remember a bigger comeback. Where does today's rank?
The whole tournament feels like a comeback right now, but that was just a great display of who this team has been all year. And when the stakes have been highest, they've been their best. And those are the things that make teams special.
Have you ever heard of a team that has had such a remarkable, so many close games, remarkable runs? Your blood pressure must be pretty high at this point.
A little worn out, Scott, just emotionally, and in that moment, the best thing you can do is have clear mind and communicate well with your athletes. So I don't know, when you get out there, you just get into a different zone, and I think the feelings and emotions come later on.
Does this team surprise you, even you, with what they've done?
Yeah, Scott, the growth, to continue growing from August to late April, to ask your players to be uncomfortable week after week, day after day, while you're trying to win a Pac-12 title, to make practices hard and brutal over and over again, and to be direct with them, and yeah, their resilience is incredible, and I think just the work they put in took care of them here in this tournament.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Our next question is from Chris Adamski. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, Coach. Congrats on the win. Can you take me through your thought and what you saw on the challenge there late in the fourth set? And obviously that was a pivotal moment. Did you see that? Is it almost a case where you're almost like, user or loser type challenge, or did you know it would work out for you?
Yeah, you're talking about the net call or the swing that was kind of sharp on the sideline?
The net call.
Just was pretty confident in I think my biggest concern is that I was out of challenges. I felt like I was challenging in critical moments in the fourth and in the fifth. Sam had a swing that I thought was just outstanding and was pretty confident, landed in, and I was just glad I hadn't used the challenges earlier in the match and had an opportunity to help him out.
Did anything change from the first two sets to the obviously the score change? Was there a turning point or something that you guys did differently or they did differently or something that made the difference?
Yeah, there was a slight matchup change. We spent a lot of the night trying to figure out what was best, and we put it out there and it didn't go, and then it didn't go again in the second, and so we made a change. Didn't know if it was going to be the right one, but we had to do something, and that combined with the athletes kind of dialing up our offense and starting to find the tops of blocks and manage some tough serves. Those two things kind of came together, I think. But of course, players are the magic, and just saw them start playing the high-level volleyball that I've seen throughout the year. And so, yeah, all credit to them.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Ed Strong. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
This is Ed Strong, UW Dogbound. Teams had a lot of opportunities to try and get over the hump in terms of in your years with the Huskies. They made the semifinal when you're national semifinals when you were an assistant. But you've had a lot of years where you're in the Elite Eight, you're in the Sweet 16, you're in regionals. You kind of touched on it earlier, but just what does it mean to get over what was clearly a really significant goal for you guys, far not the ultimate one, but.
We really believe that if you do good things day after day and you have good season after good season, that the great moments will happen, and that it's not a matter of trying to, coach it out of them as much as it is be really good for really long periods of time, day after day, week after week, year after year, and your time will come. And it's not about getting there as much as it is about how you get there and who you get it there with. And sometimes easy to lose faith, in that philosophy. But today is a special day. Just validates it a lot.
And in a match where offensively really nothing seemed to go right early on, what were you able to do, especially Maddie Ensley, to get from in her first set where it really just seemed like Pittsburgh had everybody's number? What were you able to do to get the pins open, particularly with Ensley and Drechsel?
Yeah, it's all connected. It's hard to point to one thing. The serve receive was extremely rough in the first set. The out-of-system setting was rough. We were playing really far off the net. I think Pitt is one of the best digging teams in the country, and then they also have some physicality at the net. So I thought a lot of little things just got better, and we started setting some more balls in tempo, and hitters started kind of hitting some high hands, which is what you need when you get into these Elite Eights and these big-time volleyball matches. You're not going to find the floor much against these great teams. And so, yeah, really impressive by Maddie to turn that around, and really impressive by Claire and Sam having to take some tough swings against well-formed blocks.
Thanks, Coach.
Our final question is from Lee Finswag. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can go ahead.
Boy, the final question. Keegan, you've been doing this a long time. Have you ever gone through 3 matches in a row like that? And of course, under the circumstances, that alone has to make it unique.
I haven't been doing it that long, Lee. It feels like it's been a long time. My hair certainly looks like I've been doing it a long time. 3 5-set matches in a row, being down 0-2, being down big in the 5th last match. You couldn't write it any better. And man, just I don't know, Lee. You caught me at the end of this thing. I'm out of words here, but just what these athletes do is really incredible, and it's really hard to grow in the midst of a pandemic, and to be committed to growth when a lot of people are just trying to get by. And I just love every one of these matches for them. Just love every one of these moments. I'm glad they have these memories forever.
Well, I want credit because I already posted a quick hitter, and the headline simply says, "Heart Attack Huskies."
You're the best, Lee. Thanks. Can we get some players in here? Can I run?
Yep. Thank you, Coach.
Thank
for
you.
your time today. We'll be joined momentarily by student athlete Samantha Drechsel and then Ella May Powell after. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Hi.
We are now joined by Samantha Drechsel. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Ed Strong. Please unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Ed Strong from the UW Dog Pound. You saw one of your first matches with the Huskies after coming from Maryland, and a lot of your team and a number of your teammates really first matches. You guys played Pitt early, and obviously a lot of the players have changed, but in particular, you saw Kayla Lund, you saw Chinaza Ende, and they really, I mean, that match probably seemed like somewhat of a wake-up call at the time. Was that mentioned at all in the lead up to this game, or was that something you thought about? Yeah, I mean, a lot of the players have changed, but some of the players are still the same.
Mm-hmm. We definitely mentioned that. I think we know that they're a really great team, and they were then. But I think we knew that they were just going to fight. Like, that's kind of their MO, is they play really, really hard. They're a really good defensive team, and so since we had seen that before and gotten crushed by that before, we knew a little bit what to expect.
That's all for now.
Our next question is from Scott Hansen. You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, Samantha, what comeback was greater, this one or the one on Sunday?
Oh, I don't know. Both felt great. I think yesterday Maria. That serving run was like unbelievable, and I think a couple of us may have thought, like, when the score was 1-6 or something, that maybe we wouldn't be showing up tomorrow, but yeah, both great.
Do you think going through yesterday's comeback kept you guys more confident you could do it again today?
For sure. I think we know that a little bit what's possible with this team. We know that we're going to fight till the end. And going into the third set today, I think we were like, hey, we can come back. We can do it. If there's a time to do it, it's now.
Thank you.
Our final question will be from Sydney. You can unmute yourself and ask your question now.
Sam, this is Sydney from the Daily. What were you thinking going into the third set down by 2? What was like the team's mentality as well as yours?
I think we were just thinking that, like, we're close. We're playing with them, but we need to minimize, like, the errors and the service runs. And we kind of had, like, a little heart-to-heart, and we were like, let's do this. We've worked so hard to get here, and let's play all out. Let's get it done.
And how hard was the turnaround coming back from the 5 set and then 9 a.m. this morning? I'm sure you guys got a really early start. What was that like today?
Yeah, definitely difficult. Coming off of a win like last night, it was definitely emotional. And then we were up at the crack of dawn this morning trying to get film in, and then we had like COVID testing, so pretty quick turnaround, like early start, but I think we handled it as best we could.
And lastly, what was just the general feeling of the team right after it was over and done? Was everyone relieved? It looked like there were lots of tears and hugging. How was everybody just reacting initially?
Yeah, definitely a lot of tears. It's kind of crazy when you've been in a global pandemic and coming back to campus, trying to practice, play, still get better when there's so many things going on in the world right now. And just, like, I have so much respect for my teammates and all the hard work and the focus that we've put in the past couple months. And just to see it pay off is crazy. And I'm not sure if it's really hit me, like, the gravity of it yet, of all the hard things we've done this season. But yeah, I'm excited for what's next.
Thank you, Samantha, for your time.
Thank you.
We'll be joined momentarily with Ella May Powell next, so please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Hi. You better not make me cry.
You can use the raise hand function to indicate if you'd like to ask a question, and we're ready to start now. So we'll start with Ed Strong. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question now, you can do so.
Hey, Ella May, you've had your team, one of the first, early in your freshman year, you guys went to Pitt and had what probably would have had to be an eye-opener of a loss. Obviously, a lot of the team, a decent amount of the team has changed, but they've still got Kayla Lund, they still got Chinaza Ende. Were you guys mentioning that in the locker room coming in? Was that something, I mean, obviously motivation enough, Final Four should be motivation enough, but was that something that you drew from?
Absolutely. We definitely were thinking about that game whenever we were scouting or when we found out that we were going to play them. But we've grown a lot as a team since then, and it was very apparent today. But there's some amazing athletes on that team. 23 and 5 are incredible athletes, along with the rest of the team, of course. But and we knew that we had to stop them, and we knew we had to be better at being disciplined on what we knew they were going to do. And I think the difference between freshman year and now is we were really good on our assignments, and we knew exactly what they were going to do. And even though we didn't have a lot of time to scout them, we were really disciplined on our assignments.
Did you have a chance to have any of your family are finally kind of close to home? Did you have a chance to, and your family have a chance to come in today?
Yes, actually, I was able to have my parents, my brother, like my aunts, uncles. So I had a small crew with me. It's only 6 hours, so it feels good to be close to home because our situation right now with everything going on is they didn't really get to see me out in Seattle a lot. So I'm just grateful to see them there in the stands.
Thank you.
Scott Hansen, you're next. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question.
I don't have the unmute button. I don't.
Oh, I think you're unmuted. You're good.
We can hear you, Scott. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you ever had games like two matches like that were such great comebacks back to back like that ever?
No, definitely not. But I think it goes to show how gritty this team is, and we haven't even had a game like that together or two games like that together as a group yet, and it's just really fun to see people show up in those moments. And I don't want to say that we were tired from that game yesterday, but it'd be hard not to. Definitely emotionally and physically tired. But I'm just so proud of how we fought back in this game today.
How do you turn it around down 2 sets to? It'd be easy to just say, okay, we had a great season, but.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I don't think I ever had a doubt, and it's kind of maybe weird to say that, but in the first 2 sets there, we weren't playing our style of volleyball. We were kind of just responding is what it felt like, and once we realized that if we're going to go out playing our style of volleyball and not what we're doing right now. And I think that's what turned it around is we have to be who we are all the time, and we have to be so disciplined and play the Washington way and all the time, and that's what's going to carry us through.
Thank you very much.
Our next question is from Sydney Nash. If you want to unmute yourself, you can ask your question now.
Hi, Ella May. This is Sydney from the Daily. I saw you say to the team a few times today, one at a time. How do you think that mindset impacts these long kind of comeback games? And what were you hoping to motivate the team for then?
Yeah, I think that was a lesson that we learned yesterday. And down 8-2, and we're not going to score all the points back at once. And taking each point at a time, and we say good after good, because you can't just be great and then not so great. So we focus on just being good after good, and because that's all we can control, and being very disciplined in what we're supposed to do. And I think that mindset is kind of what carried us through. A lot of us were saying we may have put up a good front of that we're confident, but we were all freaking out inside, and so we were faking it till we made it. And so just having that good after good approach, or one point at a time, is really what I think helped us win that game.
And like you said, considering that you're stressed and kind of freaking out on the inside, do you think it's difficult to kind of shake off those challenge plays that either maybe you don't agree with or they're stopping the flow of the game, and how do you get back on track from that?
Yeah, I think the way we kind of shake those off is it's out of our control at that point. And the only thing that we can focus on is being really good at what we can control. And just they're going to do what they're going to do, and we have to respond to that the way. Nothing special, just what we've learned to do, what we've been doing all year, and that it's going to carry us through.
And lastly, how does it feel going to the Final Four?
Yeah, I heard Sammy say I can't feel the weight of it yet, but it's something else. And just to be able to carry on the tradition at Washington with such a successful historical program it means the world to me and my team. And yeah, I can't even put it into words.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time, Ella May.
Thanks.
Our final question will be from Lee Fenswag. If you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, you can do so now.
Can I say it again? Ella May Powell, what was, was there any kind of technical adjustments that you made later in the match, like maybe at the midway point where you bring in maybe hitters in a little bit, changing the timing, doing anything like that to make things click better?
Yeah, Keegan mentioned we flipped our rotation a little bit on him, changed the matchups, and I think that helped a little bit. From my end, I really just tried to keep my hitters in good situations. I wasn't locating as well as I needed to the first two sets, and I think I just settled down a little bit and started locating a little bit better. And with the hitters, they were taking amazing shots, and we knew that was a physical block, and they were handling it so well later on in the game. And I think we got a little away from what we do, and like I said, just bringing it back to good after good, to being disciplined, to doing what we do, what we've done all season is kind of what carried us through that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ella May.
Thank you.
And thank you all for participating today. You can find a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you for joining us.